Good evening, social media friends. This is my second video of the day. Reason why I am going live, I just got a phone call from a client that was crying, like literally crying with joy and happiness. And if you want to know why she was crying with joy and happiness, and this is a video I've never done before. I don't think I've ever done before, but anyways, I don't think I've ever done a video about customer service. You know, going all out or nothing for that client. A lot of realtors, a lot of professionals, lawyers, doctors, engineers, or whatever you want to call it, they do give all out service or don't do it. I'm going to tell you something that it's sad but true. I think a lot of professionals, well, I don't want to say a lot of, but there are professionals in many different types of industries that are profit driven. Profit meaning they're driven by how much money they can make in the quickest timing. And then there are those like myself that are service driven, focusing on the service and how I can satisfy that client as best as possible and how I would want someone to treat me as best as possible. Sorry about the sunlight. Stupid me, I'm doing a post when the sun's in my face. But anyways, so what is service driven and what is profit driven? So profit driven is focusing on how much you can make on a transaction. Service driven is how well you can service that client and not care about the money you're making on the transaction. You have to give all out service to get the money. But if you focus on service, the money will come on its own. If you focus on profit, the service will decrease and you will focus on quantity instead of quality. I'm a big fan of quality. So this lady that called me crying with excitement and joy, like screaming her lungs out at me. And that's what triggered me to do this post. If I can get the sun out of my face. And her excitement and joy was because I sold her house. Her story is very emotional. Her mom died, her brother died. She's in charge of her her nephew, and she doesn't have money. She inherited this house. She's, it's just a really, really difficult emotional story where I sold her house. She's moving to something else without getting into details, just for keeping things confidential for her. And I told her, I texted her, she called me so many times every day, texted me every day, when are we closing, when are we this, when are we that, and I kept on telling her, hey, I'm working my best to try to make this happen, working my best to make this deal close, because there was a timeline. I finally got this deal to schedule, this transaction, this buyer, to schedule this closing, and we're closing Thursday, and I finally texted her, I said, hey, I texted her, it's great news, we are closing Thursday at 11 a.m. I will see you, and I give her the address. And I didn't think much of it other than I'm glad that I was finally able to get this scheduled. But she thought the world because of everything I did for her. It wasn't the money. It's a small transaction that I'm not getting paid much on. But I focus so much on service drive, not profit drive, where I'm focused on the service I give to the clients, that the excitement of her tonality and everything that I heard in that conversation, that phone call of her screaming and crying, to me was more rewarding than any money I make on that deal, which is not much. But to me, that small transaction, and I tell you the honest to God truth, is more rewarding than a $5 billion transaction. A billion, million, zillion. My point is, the feeling, I'm more focused on the feeling, and that feeling just felt so great. I feel so great that I have somebody crying and excited with joy tonight because of everything I did. Even when I was out of town, I handled her transaction. And now, Thursday, we're going to close on this deal. The message is, be service driven by giving great service and stop focusing on the money you're making, because the money will not last long. The service will last forever. Hope this message helped you, professionals, realtors, doctors, lawyers, Whatever industry you're in, or service or business, give great service so you can get great results, and that's my slogan. Great service and great results. If you want the same, let me know. 313-718-5000. Al Abdallah. Make it a great day.